faces and names. Ever meet somebody and tell you what their name is, and next time you see them, you're like, hey, and you're like, I don't remember what your name is. You're just like, hey, you know, because you're embarrassed to let them know that you don't remember their name. And they're like, hey, what's up, Dan? Like, they remember your name, you know. Anyway, this is my experience because I'm pretty terrible at remembering names. It takes me like 2 or 3 tries at least. Anyway, you know how that is? I was just thinking about chords and the fact that I know a couple of them, but I don't know a gazillion of them like I'd like to. And I'm currently creating a background track where I'm using a chord that I really like. Kind of funny now I'm thinking about it, I don't even really know the name of this chord. I just know where to put my fingers and I really like it. I think it's an E minor, let's figure this out. I think it's an E minor 7 add 9 if I'm remembering correctly. But I really like this chord. Heard it in a few things and I really like it, and well, it's the one chord in this particular track that I'm making. The thing is, excuse me 1 second while I do something really important. The thing is, I know the shape of the chord and I know what it sounds like. When I hear the chord, I recognize it. It's a familiar face, if you will. And I was just thinking about that and about that with chords in general. The fact that every chord has a familiar, it has its own unique sound. And we could see it as having a unique face, just like how we all have our own faces and we recognize each other by our faces. We can recognize chords, we recognize chords by how they sound. We memorize how to recreate them by remembering where to put our fingers. So anyway, faces and names. Faces and names. I was just thinking about this concept because I think it's going to open up a different kind of mentality for me. Just like it takes a few times, you might meet somebody, you might even know them a little bit, but you might not know their name because you forgot the first time and you're ashamed to ask. And then finally you muster up the strength and you ask again, and eventually you get to know their name. You can call them by their name. It becomes more personal, you know? I'd like to get more personal with my chords because they're all unique. They have their own faces, they have their own signature sound, and they're all special in their own ways. And if I approach it the same way, like trying to get to know somebody and get to know their name, I think it could be really helpful for developing my ear further, developing my vocabulary of sounds better, being able to hear a chord in my head and be like, oh yeah, that's that chord, and be able to name it and know where to put my fingers. Powerful. To have your own personal library of chords that you know. And I think I'm going to start doing that a little bit more deliberately, maybe like a chord a week or something like that. Find a chord I really like and start getting to know it. Recognize it, listen to it until I recognize its face, and then put my fingers there and memorize the name until I know its name. Anyway, just a little thought. Sometimes I'm a little slow, and I think that it's not the first time I've had this thought, but you know, sometimes even nearly 20 years after starting to play, you keep having to learn the same things over and over again, and I think that it's time to stop being so lazy and applying this thing in my life. Anyway, you might want to start doing that a little more wherever you are. Hope this thought has encouraged you. From New York City. Anyway, take it easy. This is Dan from Guitar from the Heart. Remember to play the guitar from the heart and have fun with that. See you next time.